Oh, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. We are getting all set up right now, so just bear with us for a moment. Okay, so the last the group of you had left off, you had ventured into the Sea Ward looking for the Vault of Dragons, a hidden location where Dagholt Neverember had supposedly embezzled a large sum of money. You managed to come across the Stone of Galore, a magical artifact that spoke with Ellis and guided him into the right direction. Venturing down into the vault's depths, you were met with very little resistance. Had a little bit of trouble just navigating the ruins themselves, as they seem to have been in misuse and disarray. Um, but you managed to work your way to the very bottom of this vault, where you were met by a very wizened looking old dwarf who was not expecting your arrival. Um, Conversation was had, and through a little bit of an attempt at deception to inform the dwarf that you were there to protect the gold, um, you were met with a bit of resistance by him, as he had relayed to the party that he himself was tasked with protecting this treasure until Lord Neverember or one of his vassals arrived. Um, After a little bit of a standoff between the group of you, you decided to just leave and attempt to find Lord Neverember's son, Raynar, in an attempt to coerce him to follow you guys back down into the vault. As you exited out of this large cavern, Eastvale, who had been tagging along with the group of you, had rushed off on her own, as you guys wanted to continue searching what remains of the vault interior before leaving. You encountered a enchanted stone construct of sorts, managed to work together to defeat it, and after leaving the area, ended up in a surprising ambush where a few followers of Asmodeus had seemed to kind of put you into a bit of a hostage situation, as you saw Eastville was there unconscious on the ground and you had found yourself surrounded. Another battle ensued, and through some clever tactics and just good positioning, you managed to quickly slay these would be ambushers. And as the dust settles, and you all kind of stand there looking about each other, catching your breath, quiet and stillness hits the chamber once more, and you all just kind of stand there just looking amongst each other. What do you guys want to do?
I'll go check on the dead wizard dude.
Okay,
See.
go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Trying to find my character sheet again.
Should be under PC.
Yeah, I just had it memorized, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Rummaging around through this arcane caster of Asmodeus, you find a number of things. You find a small satchel with what appears to have about maybe 120 gold pieces, about 6 silver pieces. You find, aside from his what appears to be some simple leather armor that he wears, he's also has this piece of cloth that kind of wraps around the front of his waist and just dangles down into the front. And as it is now heavily damaged, you see that it actually carries the symbol of Asmodeus that you had seen once before. Um, you don't find a spell book or anything on him, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Anything interesting on the others?
Yeah, if you want to go take some time to check the other bodies, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Sure.
There's 6 of us, right?
Yeah.
20 gold each and just keep 6 silver.
Taking a moment to kind of go through the remains of the female cleric of Asmodeus, you find what appears to be like a basic mace, shield, some what appears to be some plate armor. You find a similar cloth icon to Asmodeus that is just kind of draped around her left shoulder. Um, you do find a small satchel on her as well. It actually has what appears to be some kind of very fine powder. Um, just at first glance, you're not entirely sure, but it has like a bit of a yellow sheen to it as Talum's light kind of just um, bounces off of it. You're not entirely sure at the moment what it could be. You do find another smaller component pouch, and you do see that she does carry a holy symbol on her wrist, another indicator of Asmodeus, and you find a secondary satchel that has about maybe 15 gold pieces in it. Not too much, though. Looking at the other corpses of the two purplish spined creatures, they just appear to be there themselves. They're not carrying or wearing anything in particular. The um, human guard that Calarian had slain quite easily, he has now shifted into this odd-looking creature of sorts with this very long tendril-like looking beard. And as he lays in a pool of his own blood, you see that he does wield what appears to be a glaive of some sort. You could barely hear me?
It got better.
You're better now. You were a little muffled cutting in and out.
Oh, that's very weird. I am very sorry about that. Let me see if I can do anything about that.
You sound great now. She'll everyone. I'm critical. Everyone else can take the 3 gold. So it's 15 between you all, and she'll toss the bag of dust to Tizio and say, "I don't know what this is. You know what this is?"
Roll investigation for that, or
Yeah, this would be an investigation.
here? I thought I got my 1 out of the way. It seems to be some sort of like sawdust.
I imagine if Perry was looking with you, he would be able to allow you to re-roll it. Okay. Um, taking a moment and just trying to rub your eyes a little bit and readjust to the brightness as Talum kind of walks over and you kind of peer into this bag. It appears to be gold dust, actually. Feels to be maybe about, I don't know, 2 to 3 pounds worth of it. Not entirely sure how much it is in total, um, but you guesstimate maybe about 50 gold worth.
That seems handy. Did we need gold dust for something?
Yeah, I thought so too. That's what I was gonna ask.
It's useful for arcane lock and maybe other stuff. I'm not positive.
Do people typically carry this as like currency, or mainly just for like magic stuff?
Are you asking the DM?
Talon.
Well, with my vast knowledge of definitely this, I would say it's probably for magic components. Maybe they were trying to secure a room or something when they got there.
Maybe lock us in.
Speaking of, it's clear they know that we're here, and I suspect they had friends. I know we decided that we would leave, but I think it might be worth going back and taking care of this now. I'm starting to feel worse and worse about leaving that treasure down there unguarded.
Well, we can just close the door. Theoretically, we're the only ones who know the way in.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Can I check? I don't think anyone's checked on Eastville. Is that what it was?
Yeah, you can take a look at her if you like. She's
Yeah.
as you kind of move over towards her, you kind of like lean down now that you have a moment to actually give her a proper look over. You can see that she's breathing, but faintly. It's not like heavy or labored or anything. You don't see any wounds or anything other than what appears to be like a large bruising on the back right side of her neck.
Can I try to, I guess, snap her out of it or anything with it?
How do you do?
I have some. Have a water skin, maybe. A
Sure.
little water on it.
Yeah, you splash a little bit of water on her face. She is now wet.
Okay, so didn't wake up.
Did not.
Well, I guess we'll carry her out. I'll go ahead and pick her up.
Can't Calarian just wake her up?
Oh, do you want me to wake her up?
I don't know. You woke up that lady in the tunnel.
I mean, she was injured a lot.
Is Isabel not injured? Did I miss something?
I don't know.
I mean, you gather she's unconscious. She doesn't appear to be like mortally wounded, but she's unconscious. She may have been just knocked out. You're not entirely sure.
Lay of hands resuscitate from unconscious without wounds.
Yeah, because they're at 0 hit points.
I don't know. Spell was full health. And
Nah, you know.
take a nap.
So you're just gonna try to lay a point of hands on her?
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, and as you do so, you see that she now begins to stir in your arms, Tizio, as Galarian just kind of like touches onto her shoulder, and this like radiant light just kind of emanates from his hand and then extends down to her shoulder and up towards her neck where that bruising was, and you see that it starts to recede a little bit, and now she starts to stir and to wake up, and she is a little startled being carried in your arms, and you watch as she struggles for a moment to try to like right herself and stand up.
Glad you're okay.
What is going on here?
Looks like these guys knocked you out, and now they know about this place. Do you recognize any of them?
She takes a moment to try to look around, and she sees the corpse of the guard now transformed on the ground, and she is a little perturbed at it. She's startled by the whole circumstance, and she's like, they do not look familiar to me. I don't recall seeing them. I was walking through into this chamber, and then suddenly something hit me in the back of the head.
Ever run into followers of Asmodeus?
She kind of looks over in your direction, Eva, and she says, "No, it's not something I would want to get involved with."
Don't believe her?
Make an insight check.
Why not?
At the moment, she seems a little out of sorts and disheveled, especially having been, woken up just now after being knocked out. You can see in her eyes that she's quickly trying to assess the situation, and there's a bit of panic in her voice as she speaks to you, but she seems to be telling the truth.
We were just discussing what happens next, if we think it's safest to lock back up and leave, as we were planning to, or it might be unwise to leave the treasure unguarded or guarded only by this dwarf.
You're asking this of Isel?
Yeah,
She will. You can see at the mention of the treasure, and then there's the kind of connection of like, right, that's what we were doing. She kind of steadies herself a little bit. She looks at you and she says, I do not know if there's going to be more of them, but um, I am more worried about my guards. They were supposed to be protecting the tower.
perhaps we lock up and check on them.
If that is something within your power, then yes, I say we should lock the vault door again.
I mean, it would have to lock when we close it. Hopefully it relocks.
Only one way to find out. Any objections?
Nope. Before we leave, though, can I do two things? A quick pass around the area, just to make sure we didn't miss anyone or someone's hiding, and can I just double check the bodies again, just to make sure like we didn't miss anything on them?
Okay. Make a. This will be an investigation check if you're going to take a few minutes to do all that.
I'll help him look around.
Sure. Go ahead and roll an investigation check if you like.
Can I assist so he can roll twice?
Sure. Go ahead and roll again, Tiziel. Okay. Um, you spend the better part of maybe 2 or 3 minutes just kind of doing a quick pass through this entire chamber. Although quite large, you're aware that there's a lot of large iron doors with emblazoned images of different various dwarfs. You don't get the sense that there's anybody else hiding in the area, and as you kind of just do a quick pass over the now slain corpses of these individuals, you're pretty confident that they're picked fairly clean.
All right, everything looks clear, guys. I guess head on out.
Okay, so you guys turn and gather your things and start walking towards the vault entrance door that you had opened previously. What are you guys trying to do?
Walk out and close the door behind us, see if it locks.
Okay. How do you try to close the door? The doors have kind of like recessed into the walls currently.
We didn't leave the keys here, did we?
No, we did not.
So they're not being like held open, they're just standing open. Can I
Have you-
reach in there and slide it out?
The door?
Yes.
Super hard to kind of try to like fit your fingernails or your hands into like the recesses of the door themselves where the door had entered into the wall. It's very flush.
It's tight, okay.
It's super tight, yeah. But I mean, you guys have the keys on you. You didn't like put them into the door or anything like that.
Anyone know how to close these?
I could take 10 minutes to try to identify them, see if I can discern the nature of the enchantment that was on them.
Well, he does that. Maybe we can go ask the dwarf guy.
That seems unlikely to work.
Well, he's trying to protect the treasure. What better way?
True.
Although, if he expected the doors not to close behind us, you would have thought he would have mentioned it.
Also true.
I mean, does he even know the doors existed or that they had a lock on them? Like, maybe we never know. Like, if he's completely in tune with all the.
Why don't we all just
Orphans.
walk out and see if it closes?
Isn't that what we did?
Yeah, you guys are on the exterior part of the doorway. You
Oh.
guys are in that large, entry chamber before the stairwell that led up to the hidden passage of the tower. So you guys are like outside of the main chamber, but the doors
Gotcha.
have not closed behind you.
Didn't you have to sing a song? What if you sing that song again?
You're getting reversed.
Yeah.
I would rather not do that.
So what are you trying to do?
She's not going to sing while the other lady can hear her.
I'll cast Identify on it real quick.
Okay, so you spend 10 minutes trying to cast Identify on the doors?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless,
Is there anything else you guys are doing in the meantime with that?
I think we're just going upstairs. Do we need a short rest? How hurt are people?
Great. Probably shorts.
I'm at about 71% health.
Between the poking around and casting Identify, can we take a little longer and do a short rest then?
sure.
I'm just gonna give myself, or use 10 points of lay on hands on myself.
Okay. Easy enough to do. So as you all kind of stand there in that entry hallway to the chamber doors, you can see that Isfel is looking rather impatient, but she's not trying to go anywhere yet. She's just is kind of leaning up against the wall, just trying to catch her breath. As Talim, your hand is kind of like resting on the doorway as you're in the middle of identifying the door itself. Maybe about 5 or so minutes into your ritual casting of this, suddenly the doors start to shake, and then they begin to start protruding out from the sides, and now they are starting to close.
I get,
Oh, look, tell him you did it.
yeah.
Run!
I'll dive out of the way and not be smashed by some doors.
It's easy enough to do. You just pull your hand out of the way. But you watch as maybe within 20 or 30 seconds after it starts to shake, the doors now are completely closed, and the 3 large runes that are on the doorway themselves, they appear to be inert at the moment.
Cool.
Let's go see what it looks like upstairs.
Eva, you would have caught just out of passing as the doors were closing and the loud rumbling sound was going on. It almost sounded like somebody was grumbling from the chamber within.
Like the chamber behind the door?
So you guys were in front of the doorway, and then it just, as you guys were kind of loitering around there and the doors were starting to close, Eva, just with her passive, would have heard somebody within the chamber. It sounded like they were mumbling or complaining, or it sounded perturbed.
Does it sound like our dwarf friend?
Uh, that'd be a fair guess.
Well, I guess he
She'll
didn't
just
know
call
about
out to the
door.
door. We'll be back. Nice to meet you.
There's no response. But you guys are there. In the hallway, you do see behind you is that staircase that led back up into the tower. Um, as the group of you are making your way up there, within 5 or so minutes of walking up this long, narrow staircase in a single file, you are now sitting within the basement area of the tower itself. Let me pull that image back up so I can reference. Yeah. So what you can see is immediately upon entering into that chamber area, you immediately recognize that there is apparently a body that is laying face down on the ground. And as you kind of step out and your light kind of cascades into the small cellar space, you do see that on the staircase, that winding spiral staircase that leads up, another body.
Well, I can't say this is a surprise.
Do you know that one, Isabel?
Yeah, as you guys start filtering into the chamber, and she wasn't going up in the front, so as she finally exits out the stairwell and she kind of looks over, she immediately gasps and rushes over and she starts trying to like check them. These appear to be two of the same guards that were upstairs in the central lobby area when you'd first met her.
Can I check the one of the bodies to see if like they're actually dead or if they're just knocked out?
Yeah, make a medicine check. Immediately on quick inspection, as Eastvale's kind of looking at one of the first people that are there, you kind of walk over towards the stairwell and you can see that while he's flat on his back, like kind of head pointing down towards the cellar, like he had fallen backwards, there are large gashes on the front of his chest. His plate has or his leather armor has been cleaved open, and you can see that there is now blood that is beginning to dry. It's not extremely like wet. It's starting to get viscous.
Coagulate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start comforting her. So it's they're there type thing. At least he went out fighting.
Jasper and Stanison have been working for me for the past 6 years. This is unforgivable.
We'll find who did this. Do you have any idea who might have done this again?
I imagine it's the same assholes who knocked me unconscious downstairs.
So, still no enemies you may have. You know, someone you spit in their coffee in or something like that.
I have never met those individuals in my life. I can only imagine that they were here because you are here. They would have not found this place if not for you lot.
That's fair. That's fair.
Tizio, the cult of Asmodeus had the stone before we took it from them. So they're not here because of Isabella. They're here because of the treasure.
Yeah, but they didn't know where it was at, or at least we don't know, I guess.
So you knowingly had enemies who looking for this place, and you didn't think it wise to tell me about it first, to warn my guards in advance.
I mean, I figured you knew the whole city was looking for this place.
Who in this city would have known about this place? I only found it through hearsay and conversation. It has taken me over a year and a half to locate this place.
Well, imagine our surprise when we show up and you're here.
And I could say the same to you.
So answer me this then: what would be the point, or what would it have mattered if I had warned them when we had the most powerful underground guilds coming after us?
I
Would
could
your
have.
two guys been like fine against them?
You would recall that there were four. There were only two here in the cellar.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say, can I take a sweep as well?
yeah, there's only two bodies here in this cellar that you can see. You guys haven't traveled further up yet. But
Oh, okay.
Eastvale, with a bit of anger in her voice now, she's kind of looking at the group of you and she says, I could have easily employed more people to protect this place. I only thought it was a casual protection to bring the number that I did. If I was expecting violent visitors, I would have had this place guarded better. Their lives are on
Now might
your
be the right time
heads.
to do that.
No,
Too bad
not,
yours
that is
isn't.
not how it works.
We just got here today. How are you going to plan better? You going to come back another day?
Who are you asking this to, Perry?
The lady that's all upset.
I do not know what I am going to do now. If there are more of these individuals that are searching for you and searching for this chamber, yes, I have to do something to protect it. But you lot are now responsible for protecting it with me, as you are the ones who brought this upon us.
We all want the same thing now, which is to get that dwarf out of the way, get to the treasure as quickly as possible. So, what do we do to do that?
Well, you heard what he said. Lord Neverember or a vassal are the only ones who can take this treasure. So either we find one of those individuals, or convince Lord Neverember to bring himself back into the city and relinquish the gold that belongs to him? What do you think we should do?
Anyway,
I guess we should go find. Was it Raynor? Was it? And I guess
we
maybe
think
you should. I guess we should probably go upstairs, check out the place, and maybe get some extra guards now.
we think the dwarf is going to listen to Raynor.
It's his son. Right.
What do your notes say?
My notes say I believe it's his son.
Also remember, guys, you have player handouts with NPCs, and I try to keep notes on each of these NPCs as you meet them. So I try to do a lot of the work for you.
Thank you for popping that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the strange part I'm worried about.
I mean, we've had this conversation with him before.
I don't think he's going to listen to Raynor.
Eastvale immediately starts now walking up the spiral staircase, out of sight.
I'll just shout, "You're gonna run off alone again?"
I will stay close by. I need to check on the rest of the guards.
Okay, scream louder this time.
She doesn't respond.
I'm like rubbing salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Talon at best, like
She
the most squishiest guy here.
She-
He's the one that's put in there.
she's keeping note of it. So
I don't know.
yes,
If we think it's right, if we think it's right for us to have this treasure in, the more I think about it, the more it feels like we just got to go through this work ourselves. I'll do what you all, but that's my vote.
What time is it right now?
you are uncertain because you are in a cellar. If you step up and walk up the spiral staircase and exit out the front of the tower itself out into the street of the Sea Ward, you would gather it's probably a little past midday.
I kind of agree with Ava. I feel like maybe we should take the afternoon, prepare ourselves, and head back down and deal with the dwarf ourselves.
Yes, but maybe a diplomatic way of getting rid of him.
I feel like we tried the diplomatic way.
We'd also have to worry about the guards that are going to be on post.
Could try a more forceful diplomatic way.
I mean, we could talk to Raynar, see what he says if we ask him to come down with us. I don't think he's scared of a good challenge, but
An extra set of hands, even if you can't talk a dwarf into anything.
I don't know if we'll be able to find Raynar. He seems to find us most of the time.
Take the afternoon, look for him, and come back tonight in the morning.
I would say the morning's probably best, but maybe we should sleep here.
Not
Make sure.
bad, yeah.
Yes, since we got a garden now.
Should some of us stay behind then?
I think we should go together. The only way the Asmodeus people could have found this place is if they followed us. So maybe we shouldn't be splitting up.
Could you put an alarm in the place so that at least we know if someone's waiting for us when we come back?
That seems like a good idea.
Okay. So you are casting alarm.
Yeah, allowing the party plus Isabel to enter
Got it. Okay.
in case she wanders down here.
Sure. So you spend a bit of time casting that. You can see now that while while you guys are kind of conversing amongst yourselves, Isfel is just in the process of just looking over and you see this as you had walked upstairs. All 4 guards had been killed, just outright. The same familiar gashes across the center of their chest, appearing to be from some kind of long-bladed weapon. She just kind of looks at the group of you with a glare, but she doesn't say anything. She just listens in as you guys discuss your plans. And then you finish casting alarm, and she looks over to the group of you and she says, "Do not dawdle. Find him quickly and bring him back here. If we can at least move this treasure before your friends show back up, then at least it'll be secured."
Do you have a plan to move it?
She just kind of her facial expression doesn't change, but she just kind of closes her eyes for a moment and then opens them and just says, "Yes."
Care to share?
Bear back a second.
She kind of tilts her head to the side and says, "Oh, you want me to share more information, just like you shared that people were following you? I think once we secure the gold, I will give you information as it becomes relevant.
Whatever you say. See you later.
She is not happy with you guys.
No kidding.
So, you do manage to step back out into the sea ward, while the warm, familiar sea breeze just kind of hits your guys' faces, the contrast from being down in that dark and dusty interior. It's a welcoming breath of fresh air to be back up onto the surface now. The street is still as busy as it was. There doesn't appear to be any kind of notice of you leaving this tower. Carriages and passerby just continue on through the city without giving you second thought. Where do you guys want to go?
Can I take a look if someone's tailing us?
Sure, make a perception check.
All clear.
Yeah, as you guys just start walking south on the seaward, not noticing anything. No one seems to be paying you any attention.
Where do we think Raynor would be this time of day? What's our best shot?
I'm pretty sure the only two places we've ever encountered him are the sewers and our own bar, so.
Well, let's go in the sewers again. That sounds fun.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
I guess we could try to ask around for his house, but he's been pretty private about it so far. We've tried to follow him home before.
Did we see him at the other tavern?
Yeah, we might have seen him at the yawning portal, but I don't think he spends a lot of time there. I might be wrong.
Perhaps Volo knows? And he hangs out there?
I'm back.
Welcome back. You guys are deciding where to find Raynor.
We
Volo?
stop.
At the Yawning Portal, right?
Yeah, running
Yeah.
portal feels like the best shot.
So we always find them.
Seems like a good idea, I guess.
Okay. So you start pressing on south of the seaward, just following the main intersections and just casually keeping to yourselves, not to draw any unwanted attention. Somebody roll me a D100. Cool. Thankfully, the sky is clear, the day is calm. You do see a bit of gray as you kind of look out westward towards the coastline. You do happen to notice that as you cross over past the Godcatcher towards the castle ward heading to the Yawning portal, there does appear to be a small line gathering, and what you notice is that there appears to be a few priests of Saloon who are just in the process of like handing out various bits of bread and extra tunics and trying to help out those in need as best as possible. One of them kind of looks at you and catches your eye as the group of you kind of walk past and just nods politely at your presence, but continues on. They specifically notice you, Calarian, with your emblazoned Bahamut symbol and smile. But all seems fairly calm and peaceful as you eventually find your way to the Yawning portal and its warmly lit interior. The sounds of drink and laughter begin to hit your ears as you all enter inside. Not much has changed since the last time you guys had visited. Everyone just nobody makes note of your presence as you enter in through the large doorway inside. Um, what do you guys want to do?
Go around, see if we see Raynar below her. Those we recognize who might know where he is.
Sure. Make a perception check. Is it the 10?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I mean, it'll take you a few minutes. You don't see him immediately, but what you actually see first is a familiar, very well-tailored dwarf who is currently just sitting, cane resting onto a wooden table in the far corner here on the first floor. And as you kind of stare at him, you're like, "Oh, hey, that's Dranin." And then you see sitting across from him is actually Raynar himself, and they appear to be in deep conversation.
Looks like our lucky day.
They don't seem to notice you at the moment. They appear to be wrapped in their conversation.
I will approach. Assume the rest of the party's with me.
Okay.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, and as you guys kind of walk up closer, again they're in deep conversation, and you overhear Dranin talking about, yeah, it's been a bit of a hassle negotiating with their demands are pretty steep, but Lariel's been patient. She knows that they'll eventually realize that their demands are pointless, unnecessary. But enough of that. It's good to see you. And you see at that moment, Raynar kind of looks over to you and acknowledges the group of you, and he kind of he sits up and clears his throat. Oh, I haven't seen you lot in a little bit. Where have you been?
Yes, sorry to interrupt. It looked like you were having a conversation. It's lucky we ran into you. We found what we were looking for, but there's been a bit of a snag.
There's a moment where Raynar just kind of like scans the room, like immediately, and then he kind of looks over to Dranin. He thinks about it for a second, and then he says, "Dranin, I'm sorry. My friends here, they need to talk to me about some private business matters. I'm sure you understand." Right. Whatever you need. You know where to find me. And he watches. He kind of gets up and finishes the tankard that he had in his hand, sets it down on the table, and just he nods to the group of you. I hope the tavern's going well.
Very well.
Well, indeed. Good to see you.
Always a pleasure. If you need any work done, just let me know. If you plan on expanding, definitely let me know. And you see as he just starts walking out, just casually, minding his own business. Raynar kind of looks at the group of you and goes, Please, sit down. What's going on?"
Well, we were able to locate the door and open it. In fact, we were able to get through and locate the treasure that we spoke of. Just speaking I'm not going to whisper too much, but just speaking low tones.
Yeah.
There was someone waiting for us. A dwarf who said he was there to guard it. And would only hand it over to your father or one of his vassals.
Oh, that's interesting. And you spoke to him, so... that's very interesting. I don't know who my father hired to protect this money, um, but surely you understand that, I mean, it doesn't belong to my father. He stole it from the city.
So what should we do with it?
Well, I'm sure the Open Lord would greatly appreciate it if we returned what was rightfully theirs. Lord knows the City Watch could use it. Um,
There's another snag.
what would that be, my dragonborn friend?
The location it is under is Elminster's old tower, and somebody has bought them. So it is on their property, and they feel they are owed a percentage of it.
Interesting. Uh, have you met this individual?
Yep.
Yes, we
And
spoke for.
Who are they?
I tell him her name.
Esabel of Rossiner.
The Rosanars. Yeah, Rosanna. uh, City in Jorhas. He you see on his face there's a bit of a curious look, and he pauses for a moment, just kind of thinks about it. Have you had words with the Rosnar family? I mean, how do you know that they are the property owners?
Just Isabel, she showed us a deed.
I see. And she knows you were there to search for the treasure.
Oh, she knew about the treasure before we arrived. That's why she purchased it.
She just didn't know how to open the door.
Ah, I see. So maybe that is why she probably purchased the land. I have to think about this for a moment. You see, he starts to like grab onto the wine glass that he has, and he just starts to drink from it for a moment, and he just kind of stares off towards one of the large hearths at the back of the room. I do not know how much money my father stole. I am sure that there I am sure we can perhaps make way with some kind of finder's fee or proper compensation for her troubles, and especially allowing it to return to the city where it belongs.
He was
Yes,
expecting half.
we agreed. We agreed to 25%, and that was before we saved her life.
Did you run into some trouble?
Some
yeah.
followers of Asmodeus.
You watch immediately as his face kind of gets a little more stern, and he again starts looking around the room, not nervously, but just trying to look and see who's watching. Um, Aside from the general populace who are in the midst of conversation, you I would say, Eva, Ellis, you guys would notice up on the second floor there appears to be a woman wearing this red garb, like it's a long red cloak of sorts that's just kind of like entwined around her body, and she appears to be in mid conversation with someone whose back is facing the lot of you, and as you kind of like peer up over the railing, you can see that she's just kind of like looking down at your group, um, every so often, not staring too hard, but you do end up catching eyes for a moment as she kind of like turns to the side a little bit to possibly ignore your presence. um, but other than that, Raynar kind of looks back at the group of you and he says, well, I don't know if it's your place to strike any deals with these individuals. I mean, that seems like it would be something the Open Lord would have to agree to. But then again, nobody really knows the full amount of money that my father embezzled. So, if it's less than what we thought it was, and some of it finds its way into the Rosnar family's coffers, Who
Didn't
am
we
I to
see it,
say?
though?
Say
Yeah,
again?
it's piles. Piles is the right way to measure the amount of money. Then.
There's several wagon loads, basically.
Yeah, do you remember how many piles they said was missing?
I assume if we saw it, we could like roughly gauge how much gold there was.
I it is hard to gauge, but you are talking hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
The nice thing about
Eat.
us making a deal is it's not really binding. Deals can be renegotiated. Wouldn't be too caught up with what we've exchanged with SFR or SFL so far.
Well, I'll leave the negotiating up to you. You seem like a amiable lot. What do you need from me?
We were wondering if you would come down. Maybe the dwarf said he's met you, so maybe
Maybe
we just hand you the gold.
There's a look of bewilderment on his face. Roll a persuasion check. This would be at advantage for you guys. Because you have definitely piqued his curiosity.
Can I also take a look around the bar if anybody else is watching us or anything?
Yeah, make a perception check.
I'm sorry, I stand out.
Nice. Can I assist his persuasion?
You can roll separately. How would you assist his persuasion?
I'll build on what he was. He said perhaps come down because the dwarf might. Right. Ava will just cut in after and say. He did seem like it was. You'd rather talk to him before taking any more drastic measures, and feel more comfortable if you were there to be part of the conversation. If we do have to do something more drastic, it would be nice for someone outside of our group to do that.
You see he nods in slow agreement with the group of you, and he says, well, again, it is not my place to negotiate with anyone or deal with this entirely. This is my father's issue. I'm just grateful that a group of noble-minded individuals like yourself are trying to put this money back in the right hands. So for that, you do have my thanks. You've also proven yourself quite capable and even helped me out of a sticky situation. Sure, if you need me to go with you, I will do so.
Probably should bring guards. We expect trouble again.
Bound to be more for this.
Also, bring a portable ladder.
There's all kinds of confusion on Raynar's face now. He's just like, I thought we were going to talk to someone. Now you're talking about portable ladders and extra guards, and he's like, I do not know. Guards are not my specialty. The city watch and I don't exactly always see eye to eye, if you understand my meaning.
I think we can handle it.
Yeah, especially after what I did last.
I think maybe we should. I think that's good. We were planning on sleeping in front of the vault to make sure nobody snuck up there, considering we assume followed once before.
Perhaps you could meet us there in the morning.
Well, I mean, while he's about to respond to you, Tizio, as you're kind of just scanning the area, yeah. So the first thing to have caught your attention was the same individual that was kind of just glancing down at the group of you. You can see now that she has moved from talking with this one individual, and now she seems to have been walking over to what appears to be another group of adventurers, and she's in mid-conversation with them. And there was some laughing and chuckling between them as they were kind of talking, and then they all kind of got quiet as she approached and started. She started having a conversation, or in some kind of presentary fashion. It seems like you get the sense that maybe she's trying to explain something to them or ask them some kind of question. And then you watch that there's some nods of agreement, and then they all kind of like cheer out in unison and clank their tankards together and then all drink deeply from it. And then you watch as one by one they start shaking hands with her. You do also notice that there appears to be a hooded individual who, not sitting with the same party, they're on the first floor and they're opposite of the actual well itself, the hole down into the Undermountain, and they are sitting with a group of people, and you don't recognize any of them immediately. You see that there appears to be a halfling female who is just kind of like in mid-drink, and you can see her cheeks are a little blushed. You can see that there appears to be the best I can describe would be like maybe a half orc with his palish green skin, and he's just wearing this like heavy leather armor on. You can see that there's a long sword on his back. You can also see that there appears to be another male who appears very mousy and with a very small frame, and then this fourth individual who's just cloaked but looking directly across at the group of you. You see for a moment as he turns to the side, and you catch the gleam of metal off of one of the sconces that are just burning from the nearby tables. But anyway, Raynar kind of looks over to you, the lot of you, and he says, I mean, if we're going there anyway to talk to this dwarf, and if time is of pressing matters, why should we guard the entrance? Why not just go down and talk to him and be done with it? Maybe we can come to some sort of a understanding that it's not like we can walk in there and walk out in the same day with large sums of money. Maybe he will protect it for us until we remove it.
Yep.
But I will do what you guys think is best. I'm not here to take the lead on such matters. You have all proven yourself, like I said, quite capable, and you know more about this than I do.
I guess what was the logic in sleeping in front of the door instead of just going there?
I was just thinking, it's been a long day. If things do go hairy, it would be good to be fresh, but we don't have to.
Yeah, so spell slots.
Just in general for the party. But sure, I mean, we can go now. I don't care.
And
While you guys are here, you guys can count this as a short rest if you like, because you guys are spending quite a bit of time having this conversation, assessing stuff.
I do only have 2 spell slots left.
Oh.
Since we're talking, I probably do not do Song of Rest.
Yeah, probably not. Nice rolls, everybody. Oh, man.
Do we still have those temporary hit points from that anvil thing?
Yes. So if you've taken any damage, those are obviously gone. They don't restore back on a short rest.
Wait, we've had those before I got hit by that golem? way
Yeah,
back
so
when?
just add 10 to yourself.
Yeah.
That golem that was a rough hit, Ellis. I've never seen Ellis afraid before.
He hadn't got to.
I
reach
wasn't
yet.
afraid. I was just slowed.
You ran to the door.
You ran away.
you, You got whacked twice and you were like, oh god!
You know what? I had to run to the corner to recover. I wasn't running from the fight.
Weird, because I didn't move away from it. I got
He
hit
was-
pretty hard,
He was taking him. That's all it was.
and then I soloed a devil.
I think it's. Oh god.
You know what? The competition never ends, friend.
DM, can you give me that description of the cloaked male figure again?
Sure.
Is that
Just
shiny or
just the
metal or something like that?
individual, or
Yeah, just that one. I got the other one.
extremely hard to make out any details, even in this. It's a well lit interior. It's not like bright light, but there are a lot of lanterns and sconces around the area, so their shadows refract and bounce everywhere. So and it's especially crowded in the space, and you guys are on one side of the tavern and they're on the complete opposite other. These four individuals. You can't see a face. There's this long black cloak that obscures their face from view, but they appeared to be looking in your direction, and you could see momentarily as when he had turned to kind of, I guess, address one of his compatriots. You saw what appeared to be like some kind of like flash of metal or something. You're not entirely sure. Maybe a gauntlet or something on his hand. But as you guys are kind of having this conversation with Raynar and discussing how to best proceed, the group of them actually up and leave.
Well, in that case, should we go now?
Yeah, let's head back, I guess.
I would be in favor for a long rest, but last time I took a long rest, Flume turned into a zombie thing.
Yeah, I'd be fine not taking a long rest.
I think we can make do.
Well, find out.
I still have 4 level 1 spell slots, so I can just cast Dissonant Whispers every round and make them run around in circles. We'll just kind of do that.
I have a level 1 and a level 2.
Let's try to be careful not to lead anybody back to where we're going.
That is a good idea.
Hey, I like it.
Split the party.
Not split the party.
Yeah, well, half of us will rest. The other ones will go check out the place.
No, I mean split the party and like take separate routes to get there.
Or we could all sneak together, as all good adventuring parties do.
Well-
Sneak.
Disadvantage on stealth here, and I've never made a successful one.
Well, so just so you guys are aware, since you guys haven't actually tried to do a group stealth check before, it is a group challenge. So there will be successes and failures, and as long as your successes are higher than your failures, you're good.
Is Bonnie around?
At the moment, you don't see her. You see Durnan.
It's not time to flirt, is it?
There's always time.
You see Durnan in what appears to be like another human male, younger and maybe in his mid-20s or so, that's just currently in the process of like trying to collect up drinks and just wash things as best he can from behind the counter. And you just see Durnan just kind of just eyeing the room like he normally does.
I thought we head out and try not to be followed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Raynar will nod to the group. He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go anytime. Just I'll follow you guys."
Let's go.
Cool. So, you all kind of stand up there and just, casually walk out of the yawning portal. I need everybody to go ahead and make a stealth check for me.
Yeah.
you probably get to re-roll though.
Also, no way I can put up my arm, right? Or can I?
I mean, you could have you guys planned
know.
what you were gonna do.
Okay, 3 is 1 better, so.
Not knowing the DC, that went relatively well.
All right, so let's see here. So
Um,
Galarian rolled twice, right?
Yep.
So did Tizio.
Oh, why did Tizio roll? Oh, well, Tizio gets 2 rolls because of his armor. Yeah, so that's good. Okay.
Carry the 1.
Perry, you're wearing chainmail, right? Does that give you disadvantage?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Wait, is chainmail not?
But I'm also. Are we like just checking to see if we get tracked? Or?
You guys are just trying to stealthily traverse through the city. So
Did you say
yes, not be
chainmail
tracked.
does not cause
No, I said it does.
disadvantage? Oh, okay.
He had only rolled once. That's why I was asking if he was wearing chainmail.
Oh.
I mean, I could, if we wanted to do that. I mean, I could try and like use my city secrets feature.
I'm
to
already
make
taking
it
that into
easier for everyone.
consideration.
Fair enough.
So I definitely keeping track of that, and that does reduce the DC for you guys. So overall, this is a success.
I did not help towards it.
So, Ellis, since you're helming the way here, go ahead and roll me a D100.
Yeah, can I, during our trip there, because Raynar's with us, correct?
Raynar is with you.
I'm gonna mention that group of at that table and see if Raynar's ever seen them before, knows anything about them before or after.
Before you guys leave.
I guess as we're leaving and slash after we leave. I didn't.
Okay. He would turn to you as you guys are kind of walking out, because those people had already left prior to you guys deciding to get up and leave yourself. He would just kind of look at you, and he's trying to think of who you're referring to. And he's just like, I honestly didn't notice them. Do you think they're a threat?
I mean, they could be. I'm gonna.
You were cutting in and out. You're gonna what?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna search through my my bag and just pull out like
I
sorry.
heard. No, you're
No,
good.
I know. Because I'm trying to. I'm kind of thinking of this in the moment versus reading and then.
Okay, well,
deciding.
I'll tell you what. As you are all now exiting out of the yawning portal and you begin to weave your way following behind Ellis to head back over to the seaward to the old Tower of Elminster, we'll take a break here. That'll give you a chance to read your item that you want to use, and then we will pick up here in about 5-6 minutes or so and see what transpires.
Dope.
Cool.
All right, so we'll be back in about 5-6 minutes, everyone. Item were you trying to use?
I'm essentially just doing, my magical tinkering. I'm going to, just get a like sheet of paper or something like that's maybe like floating like on the ground or something, like just on the ground or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just kind of take a moment and use my gauntlet to sketch out those individuals and show it to Raynar to see if, like, hey, does this give you an idea of who they are? There's a thing where it lets me do like a photo on it.
Yeah, I'm checking it because you can make a 5-foot light. You can make a recorded message. You can do a sound that sounds like a phenomena. Static visual effect appears on an object's surface. Okay, I see. Interesting. Cool. Kind of like
Yeah,
a
so,
silent image thing.
yeah, I was trying to how to like make it non-magical
Yeah, yeah,
essentially.
no.
But yeah, with my fire bolt, I guess like a very low concentrated one, I'll go ahead and kind of etch a picture on it.
Yeah, yeah. So you find a discarded broadsheet that is just kind of blowing through the wind, and Raynar kind of watches you as you rush after it for a moment and pick it back up, and you look on the reverse side and it's blank. So you're like, yes, I can use this, and you start to, you know, squeeze your gauntleted fist a little bit and just start to generate some heat in your hand, and as you do, as the metal kind of starts to warm up, you begin to slowly start singeing out and drawing this visual representation of this guy. It is very nondescript because you did not have a lot of information to really assess. And he kind of looked.
The whole group, if possible.
Okay. Um, Sure. So you outline a rough sketch of these four individuals, and you hand it
I'm
over
back.
to Raynar. Welcome back. You hand it over to Raynar, and he looks at it for a moment as you guys are kind of just, you know, walking through the city streets, and he's like, um, "Yeah, I've never noticed them before. I I can't say off the top of my head that I recognize any of these faces. Um, is there something in particular that you needed from them, or are they familiar to you?"
Well, let's just say that obviously we're trying to stay low key, and they seem to be keeping a quite an eye on us when we were at the tavern.
Noted. I will, if I ever see them again, I will be sure to take a closer eye at them.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and kind of firebolt the paper and destroy it.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough to do. You just kind of crumple it up in your hand and just begin to singe it from the sides before it just starts to erupt in a quick burst of flame. Ashes just scatter to the winds as the breeze now just starts to pick up a little bit stronger a little bit later in the day, as now it's no longer, you know, late afternoon. It's starting to get into the early evenings as the orange and purplish hues of the sky begin to slowly start transitioning. You can see that some of the city watch are already out and about carrying various different lanterns that they're in the process of lighting up different portions of the street. You can see that there appear to be a couple individuals that are in the process of like cleaning up various different debris and street trash that's been left about, and they kind of like, one stops and looks at you as you just like make more litter for them, and they just kind of like roll their eyes in your direction. um Trusting Ellis's instincts, the group of you push your way through various different alleyways and veering off the normal path in the hopes that he can quickly take you back to the same two-story stone tower that you had just been at previously. It takes you a little bit longer at first, just because there's a moment where Ellis is just kind of looking around. He's like, I think it's this way. And then you eventually start seeing that, oh, okay, this isn't too bad. You guys are actually, you seem to be gaining, and you'll definitely get there before it becomes complete dusk. Nobody seems to notice as you guys dart from alley to alley. Um, all seems quiet, thankfully. You can still hear the distant clatter of horse on cobblestone. You can hear the shouting of various vendors selling wares and all manner of things. Just the vibrant life of the city just seems to erupt, especially now that the the temperature seems to have cooled a little bit, and the breeze is feeling great. Um, Within short time, you eventually find yourselves kind of on the outskirts of this tower. What do you guys want to do?
Let's head back in, I guess.
Double check before we enter that no one's following.
Yeah, make a perception check. You take a few minutes to just kind of press up against a nearby alleyway that kind of obscures your guys' presence from the rest of the neighboring town, and thankfully now that the sun is beginning to set and the skyline is starting to get dark, you don't see anyone noticing you guys or tailing behind you. Feel pretty confident that you made it here quickly and without issue. You all kind of dart across the street and head back over to the familiar tower, upon which, as you guys enter now, um, Eastvale is not there, nor are the slain corpses of the guards that were once there.
Is anything else different?
Make a perception check. Is it the 9? Okay. Aside from the same, streaks of mud and dirt that cake along the bottom of the door leading into the tower and the foyer just beyond, you don't see any blood. You don't see any bodies. You don't see any sign of Eastvale currently. It appears to be very quiet inside. Nothing really catches your eye.
Well, this is kind of unusual.
Someone just wasn't playing mind games with us, do you think?
Hardly possible. We have been dealing with mind flayers.
It's the whole campaign, mind flayers.
But I never had to roll a save. I never had to roll a save.
I'd like to see that vault door now.
Okay. You start walking down the spiral staircase in the center of this tower. As you do so, your boots hit onto the stonework as you proceed downward, just slowly, carefully. You eventually reach to the cellar below. The familiar crates and barrels that are just kind of stacked up in the center of the room, playing cards strewn about. It's quiet. It's empty. The two magically lit sconces in the corners just radiate a low bluish orange flame. But you are alone. You don't see the pathway that you know that you walked through originally. It appears to be a sheer wall at the moment.
Oh, you mean like the door where we previously entered?
Yeah, you guys recall that she had to do something with a key to open up a hidden passageway that led downstairs. It looks like a wall. I mean, so you guys know that this passageway at least existed, but you currently don't see a way into it. You probably have to take a closer look at it, inspect it.
I'll get a bit of look over. Somebody wants to help.
Shall as well.
While he's looking. Apropos of nothing, did anyone consider she could be a vassal?
Oh, what do you mean
Seems
by that?
unlikely.
I don't think so.
She was there. She would have said something.
Unless she wanted to
Maybe.
get us out of the way first.
She doesn't know how to open the door. You did something about that, remember?
That's true.
At least hopefully.
Rather quickly, Talum, Tizio, and the lot of you all kind of like clamber down to this small cramped cellar. Um, you notice immediately that there appears to be not a depression, but the stonework itself appears to it doesn't match perfectly well with the rest of the wall, and you do, as you get closer to inspect, you do see that there appears to be like an indentation of some sort, maybe about maybe 2.5 inches deep, almost like a slot or something.
Slot like for a key or like something we can, something I can pick or what?
Yeah, like a slot for a key. Like I said, you guys recalled that when she originally brought you all down to the cellar, she had a key on her.
Okay. I'll go ahead
Is
and
it
try
just
to.
Was it just a normal key?
From what you could tell, yeah.
Okay.
So what are you trying to do, Tizio?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and try to pick it
Okay, go ahead and make
to
a
unlock it.
dexterity check with your thieves
I'm gonna
tools.
I'm gonna lean over his shoulder and give him advice, which will amount to giving him inspiration.
Sounds good. So you also have a D8 inspiration on top of this.
Roll that d8.
Yeah.
Nice. It's 23 total. Okay.
Wait, Tizzy, are you proficient in
He
these
is.
tools?
He should add his proficiency as well, which is +2, I think, right?
Our proficiency
3?
bonus is 3.
Oh, 3, so it should be 26.
Assuming his dex is 3, yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure why it doesn't add it.
Well, it's, let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I
I
didn't
think-
add your proficiency.
Yeah, for my character sheet at least, when I did the level up thing, it resets the attributes in the tools section to null, so it doesn't know an attribute to add.
Gotcha.
So that might happen you did.
Okay, well, still, 26. It's a really good roll. Quickly, even though you have an eerie sense, like just the back of your neck kind of tingles a little bit as you begin to start inserting your thieves' tools into this seemingly inconspicuous lock. You eventually finesse it in such a way that you eventually hear something kind of drop and hit like stone, and then the door begins to shift and push inward, revealing the long staircase that you had once traversed down.
We traverse down everything.
Okay, as you descend down the 60 or so feet to the vault chambers below. Again, it is dark, but as you all have sources of light amongst you, you're able to light up the space, and in doing so, you can see that the beautifully carved animatite doors still remain closed currently, but there they are in front of you. The 3 large runes emblazoned on the front, or I'm sorry, not emblazoned, just etched into the stonework.
I'll grab the 2 material components out of the bag, toss them to Ava.
We'll approach the door as before.
Okay. So it takes you a few minutes as you all now hear Ava singing this gaudy song, and
Da da da.
within short time, as she finishes, the all three symbols on this doorway, they begin to emit that same familiar magical presence, and then the doors begin to shift and recede back into the stonework to the sides.
Callum's alarm started with 8 hours. I'm guessing there's still like 5 hours left on the thing.
I'm sorry?
He'd cast alarm before we left around the door,
Yeah,
right, which had 8 hours on it. I'm assuming we weren't gone that long, so it still has 4 or 5 hours left.
yeah, you haven't been gone that long. So, you guys are now within the central chamber here in the bottom left of the map. Um, you do notice as you guys start stepping into the interior of the larger chamber beyond, there still appears to be those corpses of those that you had slain, still laying there, unmoved. But all seems to be quiet.
You know, that dwarf did say he was going to tidy up, and look at this.
Can I grab the glaive and toss it to someone who looks like they like to use glaives?
You certainly can.
I'll give it to Clarion, as he is the one who slayed the user.
I was gonna say nobody catches it.
I mean, I guess I'll carry it, but I don't use gloves.
Well, we never know if it's magical or something.
I mean,
Should take some time to look at it later. Worst case, you mount it over the stove, the hearth as some reminder.
Maybe we'll turn to Raynar and warn him. Walk only where we walk. There are traps here.
Okay, so you're trying to look for traps as you navigate back down to the vault below?
No, I'm warning Raynar not to stray off from our path so that he doesn't like go check out that wall and turn into a
I understand.
mural or something.
I understand. Yes. And as you say that, he says, "Oh, thank you for the warning. I appreciate it. Um, were these bodies here originally?"
Oh no, we made those.
And
They were the trouble we ran into with the cult.
and you can see as he is beginning to kind of look around and assess, and he sees the two, the male and the female, to the northern part of the chamber. A couple things actually. You guys notice that he is extremely. He appears to be extremely fascinated by the entirety of this chamber. Um, he begins to start rambling off a lot of the similar information that you guys had been told previously about how this appears to look like a dwarven temple to Moradin, and how a lot of this construction probably predates a lot of the city of Waterdeep itself, and you kind of get the sense that he seems to be a bit of a historical nerd.
Well, there's all kinds of dwarfy stuff down here.
I look forward to seeing more of it.
Ooh, a Annabelle, and Ellis almost got squished by a giant statue. That was fun.
I think I would like to avoid that if possible.
Start leading the way back to the line down to the chamber.
Okay. Yeah, and it thankfully doesn't take you guys too long, but you do notice that it's extremely quiet as you guys traverse the entirety of this chamber, and you enter up into the upper level here, where you know that there's that long hallway. I'm not going to drag you guys on the map for this, but you enter into the long hallway with those large arches that lead across those stone bridges, and you find yourself kind of standing amongst the center bridge that has that large gap.
But before we left the main room, could I have like looked for a way to close the door? Like a mechanism or something?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an investigation check. You spend a good 2 to 3 minutes just kind of scouring the walls closest to the doorway. You don't see anything that looks like a lever or some kind of release mechanism. You're not entirely sure how it works.
Okay, cool. I was just curious.
Reno, you brought that ladder, right?
No, we left immediately from the Yawning portal and came straight here. If you need me to get a ladder, I don't have
No,
one.
I think
Who
we'll
doesn't carry a ladder?
Mr. Claw.
But this bridge does look troublesome. Do we have a way to cross it?
We have rope and we have an Ellis.
And concern.
Raynar's gonna kind of like he's standing on the side of the bridge, just kind of like inspecting it for a moment. He's like, oh, I wouldn't try to put too much weight on this. If I were a bit heavier, it wouldn't be too good for me. And he is going to take a running leap.
Oh boy.
Oh,
See, this is why I said to bring a portable ladder. It's too dangerous, you guys. Too dangerous.
well,
At least he didn't put on stilts before he jumped.
you actually watch as he steps back about maybe 15 or so feet before he begins to run, and he seems quite lithe. Like he's a very thin individual, and he picks up enough speed that allows him to just kind of bound across, and you watch as almost like Eastville, like he definitely makes it to the other side and just kind of turns and stops and looks back to the group of you and he goes, okay, I think I still have it. Are you sure it's this way?
There's some trapdoor in there or something. The whole thing.
Okay. So how are you guys getting across? Is Ellis jumping first? You guys trying to use rope and telekinesis?
I mean, however we did it before, where we didn't have to make skill checks.
Well, so that would be Ellis making a athletics check. Bam, loving it. And then from that point on, yes, you guys would be able to, with enough time, traverse across that same bridgeway. And then you do find yourself in front of the large obsidian-like doorway at the end of this long bridge. You kind of like lean up onto it to try to pull it forward or pull it open, and it having been bent a little out of position, no longer closes properly. So Ellis, you're able to forcefully yank it back open without issue. You step inside and you see the familiar room.
Just as a note, how tall are these doors made of adamantite?
They appear to be, I think they are 15 feet.
Is adamantite worth a ton of money?
If we take these doors.
Let me check the doors. Hold on.
Well, that's why I asked how big they were.
Hold on. Let me check.
I had the same thought at the same time.
We could just haul them out of here later.
They're either 15 or 20 feet tall.
Either way, they're probably thousands of pounds. I don't think we could carry them.
Yeah, so all these doors, the doors to the main vault and these 3 doors that you guys have been cracking open, they are 20 feet tall, about 5 or so feet wide. They are heavy.
How thick?
How thick?
Gummy thick.
They're probably about a foot thick.
So a couple of tons easily.
Alright. Adamantium is about 125 pounds per cubic foot.
Wow, he's actually mathing this out.
Carry the one. Don't forget to carry the
Okay,
one.
and it says it's worth 5,000 gold a pound.
The doors are worth more than the pile of gold.
One of those doors is worth 62 million gold.
All right, so how are we getting the doors off?
Yeah, the gold belongs to the city. We'll take the doors.
We actually crashed the adamantite market, and it's now valueless.
It's 3 of them.
I feel like that's pretty likely.
Maybe they're just plated.
Yeah, they're just rose gold. I mean, I'm down for this. Let's go.
We'll get them on the way out.
Yeah.
All
Throw me the
right.
bag of holding.
The bag of holding will not. Well, no, the bag of holding won't work.
I mean, not with that
Hey,
attitude.
if you can, I don't know, chunk it off somehow.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Do we have anything that could break through adamantium now?
Does
Our
Harry
hopes and
have a
dreams.
skill that can turn metal things into different shaped metal things?
We set up a forge down there.
Like, all right, guys, we'll be here for the next 6 months as we try to break down these doors.
Onward to the trapdoor.
You don't see a trapdoor. You step into this 20 by 20 foot room. You see the familiar etched in words in Dwarvish. Only a secret unknown to anyone will part Dudamanthian's lips.
Raynar, you got any secrets?
He looks at you and smirks. Ah, I'm sure we all have some. Why?
I vaguely recall us having to tell a secret last time to get the trapdoor to appear.
Did we all have to say a secret last time, or just one person?
I think it was just one secret.
Yeah,
Just one. Yeah.
I did it last time. Someone else did something.
I mean, I guess I can do it.
Okay. So as you all stand there within the chamber, what do you say?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows this, but let's say I'm a wanted man. Is that sufficient?
Yeah. You you're all a little perplexed at the statement, and you're not entirely sure what it means or entails, but
I was
as
not.
fair enough. The same trapdoor that was once sitting at the back of the room does begin to release and fall inward, revealing a spiraling staircase that led down.
Oh, there we go.
Onward.
All right. You head down this spiral staircase, maybe a good 90 or 100 or so feet, just following narrowly as it spirals, almost endless at first, but you've been here before, and you recognize that it takes a moment, and then you find yourself now standing within the hallway that leads north and south within the vault chamber itself, and you all know that just beyond this wall lies a large sum of money. Kind of slowly coast your way along one of the... Are you guys going north, south?
However we got there the first time, I guess.
Sure. You start traversing the southern hall. Raynar is just, taking his time to inspect the stonework and just look around, and you can see that he's just completely fascinated by the entirety of the environment. Eventually, you find yourself within the larger of these chambers, the familiar sunlight pouring down through some seemingly magical effect from above, illuminating the space beneath. You don't currently see the dwarf that you saw before, but you do see the familiar piles of treasure off into the far corner.
So we'll just shout out, "Hello, in here."
There's no response.
Can I take a look around for like any? It's gonna sound weird, but like any sign of struggle, like a combat, a fight occurred here, anything like that.
Sure, make a perception check. You don't see any signs of struggle. You're not noticing anything having been disturbed from the last time you were within this chamber. It just appears to be eerily quiet. So
Wow.
you guys are currently like in the southern portion of the chamber, like down this way, just kind of like peering off towards the treasure. You guys are maybe a good, 60 or 80 feet away from any piles of gold. You haven't really like scanned too far around the room itself, just so you guys have a sense of where you are. You're
Is
not.
this where we? Sorry. Is this where we were confronted last time, or we were confronted
Um,
closer to the goal?
No, as soon as you guys got within like 20 or so feet is when the dude stepped out.
I mean, I guess we work our way up a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. You guys actually you walk up closer to the treasure. Um, you get probably within like 10 feet of it. You're not seeing anything yet. You're not hearing anything. Go ahead and make a perception check, Talon. Yeah, it's weird. This dude walked out like as soon as you guys entered.
Can I fly my bird around the room, see if I see anything?
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check for your bird. This would be your bat, right?
Yeah. Wisdom. Yeah.
Okay. You do a quick sweep around the room. You don't see anything immediately,
Besides lots of gold, I assume.
besides lots of gold and a large wooden chest.
No, like
Mimic.
sleeping or food or anything. Sleeping arrangements, food.
No, you don't see a bed. You don't see anything that would be like consumable food.
Well, he was here last time. I don't know where he went. Brainer, is this what you were expecting? So just gesture for the gold.
Yeah, while you guys have been kind of like looking around the room trying to find this dwarfen individual, Raynar's not stepping closer to this treasure. But he is awestruck. He's like, I, I cannot believe my father really stole this much from the city. And at that moment, you actually see from behind you all. So I will move you all over. So you guys are like here.
Where are we getting?
Bottom right corner of the
Oh, there.
map. I'm moving you guys over. So
I can't see anything.
you can't.
No, it's all gray. I saw it for a split second, then it went away.
Might have
I don't
to
think-
I might have to
reload or something.
Yeah, hold on. Let me move you around a little bit. Make sure you have dynamic lighting on. That's all good. I can actually turn dynamic lighting off because you guys have
Does my
seen the entire
token
map.
have
He has
the
vision.
ability to see?
Yeah, it does. That's fine. We can turn it off for now anyway. Is that better? Everyone should be able to see everything now.
It's off for me, yeah.
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 Yes,
Yeah,
I can see it.
Okay.
I
So
can see everything now.
and for future maps, I'm not going to use dynamic lighting anymore. But you actually see stepping out now from back here, as Raynar had said. I can't believe my father had stole this much. The same dwarven male that you had seen earlier, he kind of steps out from seemingly nowhere. You're not entirely sure where he came from, and he says, Raynar. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. Raynar. What do you mean your father stole this? And you watch as Raynar's kind of like taken aback by the circumstance, and he just kind of looks to the group of you.
This gold was stolen from Waterdeep.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly.
Make a persuasion check. You can see that there's a bit of sadness in Barak's eyes as he kind of looks at the group of you, and his eyes kind of lock onto Raynar, and he says, "Well, I must confess, I was hoping that it wasn't true, but I had a pretty keen suspicion that it had been stolen. I let my greed get the better of me, and I know it's wrong to do such things. But when the offer was presented by Daggold, it just seemed too good to pass up. What do you all plan to do with this?"
Return it.
He kind of looks to the group of you. "If what you say is true, then I have no qualm with you taking this treasure and returning it to where it belongs. Do you have a means of transporting it all?"
Not easily.
Well,
You have the bag. How much would fit in the bag?
5 pounds or 64 cubic feet.
well, that's
Or
if
500 pounds.
that's if the bag was empty, right?
Well, yeah, and it already has stuff in it, so.
Well, Bara he slowly walks closer to the group of you, and now that he's within maybe 10 or so feet of you guys, he's just kind of he's still carefully watching the group of you, but he sees Raynar, and there seems to be a bit of sadness in his face as he's just kind of glancing back at the pile of treasure and then glancing to the group of you. Are you asking him that, Tizio?
I was asking the group. I don't really recall if he mentioned that.
As far as I remember, he just said he agreed to protect it for Raynor.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
Then I would ask him.
So you do ask him?
Yeah, when he said he wouldn't agree to the bargain or something like that, I'd ask him what was this end of the bargain? What did you get in return?
You see as when he locks eyes onto you, Tizio, he kind of smiles, and he says, "The staff. It was once a keepsake of Kelvin's, but now that he is no longer living, It seems quite useful to me, as it keeps the city protected. And, well, it's just best that it's kept out of the wrong hands. That was my agreement with Daggle, to protect this treasure until someone returned to claim it. Now, I will not lie. The agreement with Daggelt was not to let it return to the city. But I do know right from wrong. And if the city is in need of such funds, I will not stop you from returning it to its rightful place.
You said the staff protects the city?
So what you see before you is this staff that's longer than he is. It's maybe about a 4 foot tall staff or so, or no, it's about a 5 foot tall staff, and it is made of like gold and silver, and at the base of it, it's a solid piece of gold, and then it twists up into what appear to be like two dragons or something similar. You can actually see it on his NPC page, and these twisting dragons like spiral at the top, and he just holds on to it, and he says, "Yes, a long time ago, the Black Staff used to control this staff in a means to protect the city from dragons.
What does it do?
This staff grants dragons the power to traverse the city, for without it, no dragon can enter the city willingly."
Seems pretty powerful.
Which is why I will not let it go.
Does anyone know it exists?
I'm sure there are a few that know of its existence. I'm sure the current Black Staff is aware of it. Whether or not they know where it is, that's none of my concern.
I don't think we're here for the staff. We've got the gold, so fair enough. I don't have any dragon buddies who have been waiting to get inside. I don't know how the rest.
I mean, there is that bronze dragon in the harbor, but
It seems fine.
This is just a mysterious dwarf. So
You watch as
who actually wants the key to the thing.
his head tilts to the side a little bit at the mention of the bronze dragon. Doesn't say anything though. But your passives would have noticed it.
So you wanted the staff, correct?
Yes. To deny those who would seek to destroy the city, it's best be kept out of the wrong hands.
And if I may ask, I need to brush up on my history. Dragons were attacking the city before the staff came into your hands, or?
No dragon has ever attacked the city because they are unable to do so. This city has been protected by the Black Staff and its powers for as long as I can remember.
Now, if you were given that as a bargain to protect the gold, what happens if you give us the gold or, lose the gold? Do you lose the staff? Does it just disappear on you?
No, I do not think that what is mine will go anywhere. But as I said, You are welcome to take the treasure.
What's in the
Nobody-
chest?
Food for me. It is how I, apart from, and you watch as he points up to the slowly spinning aquamarine stone that floats around his head. It is nice to not always require food, but a snack once in a while is always delicious.
And what have you been eating all these years?
He you watch now as he places his hand up in the air and he grabs the stone, and it falls from orbit around his head, and he says, and he holds it into his hand. It's about maybe, I don't know, 3 inches long or so. It's like a this long crystalline looking jewel. And he says, I have not been needing food because this has sustained me. I've had it for some time, and it's been useful to not need it, especially when you are staying in one place for a long period of time. But it seems that I no longer need to be here after all. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Me, everyone?
You
Everyone
nope.
in
Tell
re-
him. Make
Okay.
make a dexterity saving throw. You just barely managed to catch this crystal without dropping it as he throws it to you.
Well,
Davis is gonna open the chest and peek at what he's been snacking on.
when I asked the question, I meant what was in the chest. I surmised the stone fed you.
He said food. He's not
I
going
know.
to. He's not going. He did not want to elaborate more into that. Eve, are you trying to open the chest?
Oh no.
Yeah, not like accusatorily. She's just curious what he was eating, so
Oh.
she's gonna go over and open it.
The deal is to take the treasure. What is in the chest is my food. Why would you go searching in there?
I was just curious what you eat when you're trapped down here that long.
That is not really any of your concern. Do not test my patience any further.
Well, have a safe flight.
What are
There's-
you going to use this death for?
I'm going to hold on to this staff so that those that are willing and deserving of traversing the city may do so without harm. But rest assured, no one will cause any harm to the city that I grant access to.
Where will you go? Are you gonna stay here?
No, I will not remain. Once you have cleared out this vault, I will leave. Find a place of my own for a while.
By the way, those doors upstairs. Do you know how to like easily move them? You know, to dismantle them.
So he looks at you and thinks about it for a moment, and then he looks to the group of you and he says, so you are asking how to dismantle the doors because you wish to defile this temple of Moradin.
No.
Yeah, make a deception check.
And a quick question, DM. What is this green stuff next to me?
That was Perry drawing stuff. It's a pillar. Don't worry about
Okay.
it.
Let me believe it. Can't do that. Okay.
So he he scoffs and he says, Well, I see that forging may be in your heart somewhere. Do not displease the gods by destroying that which they built. So, at this point, Barak would kind of tell you guys, if you do not have a means of transporting all of this at once, he will watch over this until you get the means to do so. But he's not going to wait forever. And he urges you guys to either directly talk with the city government and see what they can do to support your guys' decision in getting this stuff out of here, or how you guys want to proceed. But it's up to you.
Raynor,
kind
do you
of-
have any
Or everyone huddle up.
assets?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
So that's Raynor if he has any assets that could help us get this stuff out of here.
Yeah, I can. We can just go talk with any City Watch official, or I'm sure we can go to the Open Lord directly at Pegirian's palace and let her know what's going on. I'm sure she will expedite immediately.
Take a quick look through. Maybe just see like
Yeah. So
poke around in the pile a little bit. See if there's anything that's not just like gold or basic junk. Like anything that sticks out.
there you go. Yeah, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Someone to help my puny investigation.
I will help you.
No, hold on. Everyone roll an investigation check if you're going to rummage through the treasure individually.
Does it look like the dragon's gonna eat us?
Do I
Nope.
got DM Inspiration?
If you want to use your DM inspiration, go for it.
I don't have any, that's why.
Ava, you want to inspire someone?
Yeah, is this another like group check?
No, this is looting, so just
Oh, if I knew that, I would definitely abuse my inspiration because I just rolled a 4. Yeah, I have enough inspiration to hand out to her.
okay. So, Eva, as you are kind of digging through and just looking through the pile of treasure, what you find appears to be a small hand-carved trinket that's like tied onto a wooden ring, and it's got feathers and what appears to be like some kind of acorn carved out of wood. So you
I found a
find
weird thing.
So you find that. So just mark down that you have a feather token. And then you also happen to no, not the 4 you don't. Talum. You find a very ornate ring of gold affixed with what appears to be like a hummingbird in mid-flight, decorated out of jade and sapphire jewels. Let's see here. Perry. Gold is not a big thing for you. You know, finding crazy bits of treasure here and there, that's not what interests you. What interests you is fine craftsmanship. And the thing that sticks out most to you as you kind of stare into this pile is the gold hilt. And it's just kind of like something is like buried into this pile and then sticking upward. And as you reach in onto this rod of sorts and you pull it out, you find this mace, this elegantly gold and white colored mace with what appears to be some kind of orb or sun that's like emblazoned on the top of it. Let's see. So Talon found that. Tizio, You, with that roll, you find what appears to be this leather satchel. And as you kind of pop open this leather satchel, yeah, you find 5 gold pieces. You find 5 gold pieces and you kind of brush them aside. And inside the satchel itself, there are these 3 vials. You kind of take a quick look at them, and inside one you see this like yellowish liquid. And then you blink for a moment because it's weird. Like you see this eyeball that starts to float inside the vial and then disappear. You also find what appears to be this amber liquid with what looks like a scorpion's tail inside, some kind of fang, a dead spider, and this blows your mind because as you're staring at it, there's this tiny little looking heart, and as you stare at the vial, the heart appears to be beating inside. You also find what appears to be a very bright red liquid inside this 3rd vial, and when you kind of shake it, it shimmers. Let's see, who did not? Oh, Ellis. Okay, Ellis. As you just kind of like close your eyes and just stick your hand in, the first thing you grab and feel, you feel like leather. And you kind of yank it out and you just look up in the air and you find this beautifully made like studded leather vest. Is Calarian not gonna search?
Are you gonna do anything with that leather vest there, Ellis? It seemed like your thing.
What?
I heard my name, but I was cleaning up the spill.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
no, you want this? I prefer to use my abs. If you want if you want to wear actual clothes, yeah, be my guest.
Roll an investigation check, Calarian, please.
I missed what we were doing. I don't know if you heard me, but
Roll an investigation check.
Reroll, or did you?
it's actually normal.
On the same?
No, it's
I didn't.
8 for him, yeah. I didn't expect you to roll that low. I will get
Look,
you.
then you didn't see it,
I will get you a thing in a second. Hold on.
or lower the DC.
What?
Use your DM inspiration. Use your DM inspiration.
Use my DM inspiration.
Okay, roll again.
Is it just add like?
It's advantage,
What's the roll
so
again?
just roll d20 with your or for investigation again.
Oh, good.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Okay, well I also
That's
wasn't expecting
weird.
you to roll that, so I will get you an item momentarily. As we'll get you something later on.
You deserve half.
But-
You deserve half of what you get for that.
Mark off that you used your GM inspiration, so that's gone. But I will get you an appropriate item eventually. So you all
Working that class
find
mirror.
you all find a slew of just Clarion, you find this deck of tarot cards. It's just anyway.
No
So
longer wanted for some reason.
Right. You all find a slew of oddities and different trinkets and valuables, and as the group of you kind of stand there looking amongst yourselves, Barak at this point now, he's just watching all of you curiously, but not interfering. What do you guys want to do?
Could I try to estimate the volume of gold here?
Yeah, so taking a look at this, there appears, you'd guesstimate, or you could ask Barak. Barak would probably tell you there's probably about 500,000 gold pieces worth of stuff here.
Mm-hmm. And okay.
Tala,
Is he actually a dragon?
You don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I bet you he's actually a dragon.
Yeah. We assume that at this point. Especially because he has a chest of stuff that definitely isn't jewels that we're not allowed to look at.
we've all but asked him. So
I'll straight up ask him.
How do you ask him?
Well,
Hey, bitch, you a dragon?
is there any back door to this vault?
The stairwell that you
Is there
came
any
down.
way out, or
The stairwell that you traverse to get down here is the only in or out of this chamber.
so then what are you doing about, like, how long have you been planning on being down here?
Until this treasure is removed. That is all.
Well, I mean, pretend we didn't come along. Guys, I'm getting at. Are you some sort of dragon?
Make a persuasion check.
Do you ask them that in Draconic?
He gives you a very, very stern look, Calarian. And he says, as a follower of Bahamut, I think you would know when to leave things at peace and not disturb others' personal interests.
It's not really a 10 in the bottom. It's a harmless question, if anything.
You retort this to him?
Sure. I'm not trying to provoke anything. I'm just
Well, he...
the signs point there.
Sure. He does not acknowledge whether or not he is. But you get the sense that he's just politely telling you guys to stop prying.
I'm gonna say, okay, keep your secrets in Draconic.
He doesn't respond.
Like, verbally or even
There's
physically?
no...
Like, not even like a flicker of...
If
I know
you're
what you
trying
just
to...
did.
Yeah, make an insight check if you're trying to discern that. Yes, please do tell him. I would say with that roll, there you go.
Ah, okay.
So, what are you guys doing?
Hmm.
Smiling to myself.
Sure. Do it.
Well, I suppose we should go work the city, get this cult out of here.
I mean, if we could figure out a way to move it tonight, we don't have to deal with that dumb Esavel later ever again. Just get rid of her.
She seems to have disappeared anyway.
Until the morning. I think she's just sleeping.
A question, Brock?
What?
What was the dwarf's name? Brock?
The dwarf's name is Barak Klanghammer.
Barak. Sir, do you control or are you able to prevent people from entering this temple?
He
Also known as... Sorry.
No, he looks at you and you get the sense he understands what you're saying. He's like, If you are not able to take the treasure at one time and you need to lock the door behind you, Azam shall suffice.
I know who he is. Out of character.
Yeah, where is he at? I'm looking around.
Say again?
He said that to me. I'm gonna be like, yeah, where is he at? And I'm just gonna look around.
He shakes his head and he says, Azam is the password to close the doors to the vault.
I gotcha.
Also, you kind of sound like you're speaking through a pillow. Quite muffled.
Myself?
Yes.
Yeah, you sound like you're like muffled really bad.
I apologize.
It's okay.
If we were to try to do this with floating discs, how many floating discs do you think this would take?
A lot. Because can't they only hold like 100 pounds or something?
I'm gonna tell you right now. How are you gonna jump a 15-foot gap with a floating disc?
Look, we can build a bridge.
I mean, if you want to do that, absolutely. I
You just
rescind my
pour
statement.
the gold off the bridge onto the lower floor. That actually makes it faster.
Oh, that's true, because that's on the way out, isn't it?
Mhm. Well, we don't have to get into all the specifics of that and the logistics. We can say, for brevity's sake, there are ways to transport the gold out. The question is, are you trying to keep this a secret until you remove this gold? Are you trying to inform the open lord that you have acquired this gold? What are you guys trying to do?
I would say let's inform the Open Lord, because then they would be the ultimate authority who would be able to, deal with the whole woman who owns this building, claims she owns the stuff inside of it too, that was there before she bought it, kind of thing. That's being guarded by a not gold dragon.
I mean, I don't know. We have to tell her who's guarding it. But sure.
Yeah,
It's probably safest to leave it here
Oh yeah.
and tell the Open Lord and have her figure out how to get it out of here.
Okay.
At least that's my thought. Unless somebody else has a better option. I think that's what Clarion said, though.
Talk to the Open Lord?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. So what we'll do then is, within short enough time, because it's super late at night already, are you guys just immediately trying to go there and let her know, hey, this is the situation? Are you guys just trying to wait till the morning and lock up the vault for the night and hope that Barak will protect it for you guys until you have a means of transporting?
What could we ask him? How long he's planning on staying? Like specifically?
He specifically said that he's willing to continue to protect this treasure until you guys remove it all.
Okay, so then we got time.
Yes, but you do get the sense that
He doesn't want to stick around.
he doesn't want to stick around.
Understandable. I'd want to get out and stretch my wings too.
I mean,
The real question.
having some good dwarven ale is really useful. Anyway, what's up?
Well, the real question is, are we going to be able to find a way to transport this out of here? Like, I don't know. Yeah, we can. I think we should talk to the Open Lord. That's probably the best call.
Yeah,
Do we want
it's-
to do?
We could just do it like one bag at a time.
We could.
I mean, realistically, how long would that take? 2 hours going back and forth with the bag of holding?
Probably a lot more.
I mean, so you're trying to fill up the bag of holding 500 pounds at a time, transport it back to where? Your house?
Open Lord's bank.
I mean, I don't know. So yeah, so if you're trying to bring it back to the Open Lord, you got to travel all the way to the southern edge of the castle ward, and that's a good 30-40 minute trip one way. So you're looking at an hour trip, and then how long ever it takes you to pile it in. That, suffice to
It's not
say,
feasible.
it's possible
What
to
if-
do. Go ahead.
Do you think the Open Lord might require some sort of proof that we've been here? Because we could take
I was thinking the same thing.
one sack load in the bag of holding, and then be like, "Hey, here's this times 500, so we need help."
Yeah,
Basically.
that's a good idea. Just kinda take a little bit of it.
Also, there's totally not a gold dragon down there.
Anyway,
So, okay, so you guys manage to, because you already have a bunch of stuff in there already, so we'll say you guys do manage to, you fill up just enough to where you're not popping your bag with as much gold as you can stash. You have this bag now, you guys kind of gather up your things, head on out towards the front of the chamberway. Are you guys trying to leave the door open, or what are you trying to do?
oh, we're definitely
We're
closing the door.
definitely closing that.
Oh, okay. So, with a simple word as the doorway begins to slowly shift and close behind you all. And as you make your way up and out of the tower, it is now completely dark, as night has fully taken over within the chamber. Raynor kind of looks to the group of you and he says, "Well, I mean, it went as well as I could have hoped, I guess."
Yeah.
All right. I don't think you guys need me to speak to the Open Lord, do you? I think you guys have managed yourselves from there.
Do you know how to get an audience with the Open Lord? Last time we had an audience, we were like involved in a criminal trial.
Yeah, but she also hired us out, so I don't think it's going to be as difficult. I don't think we're going to have to,
I mean, we
fight
don't
in
have any
streets.
paperwork.
Raynor nods in agreement. The Open Lord is a very malleable individual. She
Made of clay.
has she has very good foresight into planning of things. That's why she became the Open Lord. I'm sure if you speak to the guards at the front gates, they will know to expect you. I wouldn't be surprised.
What all did we have in the bag of holding before the gold?
Various things. Nimble right pieces, 8 500 gold piece bars, some random
Do
books.
we want to take out any of that and put it on our own bag, so it's just the gold that's in there? Because, I mean, I don't want them to get confused with the gold bars that we still have for some reason hidden in there. And be like, oh, that's part of the treasure. Just saying.
Yeah, we can drop them off at home or something, but yeah, we could do that.
I don't know, why are we still carrying around a whole bunch of gold bars?
The gold that's here, it's not like kind of like with like a penny, has Abraham Lincoln on it. Like, is it like marked with something that like you can tell its age or anything like that?
The gold bars themselves?
I think he's talking about the pieces from the treasure.
Yeah, the pieces from the treasure.
Each of the pieces from the treasure, they all bear the normal, like, as you kind of like look at the different coppers and bronzes and pieces of Ethereum, they all appear to have been crafted or tailored to the logo for Waterdeep. So they are very familiar to each of you as being, the crescent moons for platinum pieces and the shaping of all the copper and the gold to match the visual that I think you guys have in your handouts.
So it's not like an outdated look.
No.
Or it's
Waterdeep,
not, like,
I
dated,
mean,
really.
no, it's Waterdeep doesn't change its currency like other. You would know that Waterdeep has had the same structure of currency for a very long time.
If we are able to get an audience, I don't think it'll be too hard to convince her that we found the gold. They'll want to check it out. At least I think the Open Lord's a girl. I don't remember.
She is.
That or they're burning our books.
Okay. So, are you guys trying to do that while it's still nighttime, or are you guys heading home for the evening?
I mean, we could try to get an audience tonight.
I would say let's try to get an audience.
Okay. So, easy enough to do. Somebody roll me a D100. Oh, that is a DM map. Don't worry about that.
I think it was black, so I don't
Yeah.
think it's a problem.
Good.
I'm worrying about it.
I thought
It's the,
everything.
it's the Dragon's Lair.
No. When I bought the DMG guide for Roll20, it gave me a bunch of like maps that I haven't either removed or looked at yet. So, ignore it. All right. Let's see who rolled. 43.
You get robbed of your bag of holding.
Every time I roll this thing, something always goes wrong. So wouldn't surprise me.
Loons recapture.
I mean, all right. So, what?
Should we re-roll? Because I don't like that reaction.
This is hilarious. This is so funny.
So
All right, well,
scared.
no, it's cool. So what's gonna happen is, as you guys are expeditiously, I assume, heading like just a beeline to the castle.
Ideally.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
And Ellis is leading the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So if Ellis is leading the way, okay. You start weaving through the city in the dead of night, working your way to Pagirian's palace, where the Open Lord resides. Something kind of.
Where on the map is that?
Oh, it's Pagirian's palace. It is. I will drop the arrow for you right down there. So it's going to take you guys a bit of time to traverse through the sea ward, through the castle ward, and try to remain. I mean, are you guys trying to remain undetected, or it's a little wishy-washy because you're diving through alleys, but are you being stealthy about it? Is the question.
I mean,
You can
being correct
be
doesn't the,
stealthy. You can be stealthy and go fast, but there's just a negative to. There's a penalty to it that I subtract, but it can still be done.
doesn't the Ellis's background thing, doesn't it give us stealthy at normal pace or something like that? I could be incorrect.
It helps.
Something else.
It cuts down the time of traveling through cities. It doesn't give you guys stealth.
Yeah, I'm not a ranger.
yeah, I think we would try to be a little bit stealthy because I mean we tried to stealth here, so I think we would try to stealth
Yeah, I
away.
agree.
Okay. So just go ahead and just roll stealth checks for me, everybody. Because this determines what happens with the roll.
Wow.
Hey, I assisted this time.
Where's my stealth button? Stop. There it is. Come on.
Thank you, Calarian, for making up for me.
I think those are
Someone made up for me last time.
those are the party rolls.
Yeah, thank
Pretty
you
good.
for that. I really appreciate that. Okay, so with a brief conversation with Raynar at the front of the tower, he wishes you all luck as he departs eastward across the city ward. Not entirely sure of his intended destination, but the group of you all start weaving through as quickly and quietly as possible. A little excited, a little bit of blood pumping through your veins, and the sound of it thumping into the sides of your ears, and you push forward as best you can towards Bagirian's palace. Thankfully, no one catches your eye, and you go unnoticed until you enter to the large expanse of the castle ward, where you can see Bagirian's palace and its rising stone structure up above. No real cover up amongst this open kind of like plaza space before the entrance of the castle wall, so you are out in the open, but you feel relatively safe as you just begin to work your way up towards the castle. With a few minutes of conversation with some of the guards at the lower end of the ramp, easily enough, you wait maybe about 20 or so minutes at the front of the castle before one of the guards says, "Roy, The Open Lord said that you can come in. She said she was expecting you, and you watch as they begin to usher you inside, and that is where we'll pick up for the next session.
Can I take a gander if someone was following?
Make a perception check at disadvantage. To the best of your ability, from what you could tell, and trying to memorize the path that you guys were taking, as Ellis seemed to be extremely confident in the route he was taking to get to the palace, and he was going a little bit quicker than the last time when you guys had made it up to the tower. So you were trying to memorize that route and path, and at the same time you're also trying to look for people following. You didn't catch anyone who noticed you. So you feel confident that you were unnoticed. You don't think anyone was following you. But just as a quick aside, because I know you guys will end up... No, you know what? I'll leave that for later when you guys decide to do that. And you guys got some good stuff, man.
What I get?
So you...
Percent of what I got?
Samir?
The Holy Avenger?
No.
Oh, that is Carsmere.
An extra level up?
Just the first thing you notice is that when you reach in and grab, you actually find these it is these very ostentatious, like, green looking boots with what appear to be like tree etchings that are kind of laced in gold and silvers, and as you kind of like take a look at them,
chance boots of Elvenkind.
they are.
But my character does not know that yet.
No, your character doesn't. But you have these boots in hand. And I would say as you guys are kind of jaunting through the streets and stuff, there's actually 2 more things inside of the boots, but I haven't decided what they are yet. So you will find out next session. So you got a double bonus.
The boots need to be...
They do not need
attuned?
attunement, no.
Okay, cool. I don't know what they do. They just,
basically,
bonus stealth check.
While wearing the boots, you make no sound regardless of the surface. You also have advantage on dex checks for stealth.
Oh.
So
that would just be normal rolls then while I'm wearing disadvantage armor, right?
Correct.
Until he gets a breastplate. Then I lose that.
Well, no, it doesn't. What do you mean?
Well, if I'm wearing chainmail right now. If I get breastplate, I don't have the disadvantage on stealth checks.
Oh, yeah, very true. Yeah, you would get the advantage at that point.
And it's better than chainmail, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much does that cost anyway, actually?
I don't know.
I can look it up later.
Alrighty. So, does anyone have any questions of me?
I'm just gonna.
I do not.
I'm just gonna spend the week trying to figure out what magic items they were from their descriptions.
Yeah. If you want, here, let me. Well,
It's not a big deal. It's fun. I know what I have.
Okay.
At least if it matches its description.
I
know
will.
what I have.
Here, this is one vial.
Oh, I have no idea what those are.
This is another vial. This is another vial. I mean, obviously, copying and pasting into Google would tell you what it is.
Well, I'm not gonna do that.
This is your ring. And this is the trinket that Eva got. And I don't have a I didn't type a descriptor for the mace that was found, but I mean, it's a pretty cool looking mace.
Anyone would like a chance to get a purple sword?
No.
A +2 over sword?
No.
Is
Perry got a mace of disruption though.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
Dude, mazes of disruption are nasty.
Yep. Here's your trinket, Eva.
Wait, where's the vest?
It is basically glamored studded leather. Blah 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 blah. But none of you guys can equip any of this stuff because you haven't checked it out yet.
Damn stuff to do.
Oh, there's stuff in my boots. Is it a snake?
Yes, there's a snake in your boots. The
It's
guy,
one of
the
those
guy who
living
doesn't want to
swords.
make Disney references makes a fucking Disney reference.
I don't want to make the references.
I just want to say that so that everyone's aware.
When did I say I
There's
don't
a
want to make
snake
Disney
in my
references?
boot.
You said like, oh, my fucking wife, she loves Disney. And you seemed perturbed by the thought of it. So I just thought you were opposed to Disney references.
No.
I hear him say it all
They
the
were.
time.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway.
Oh my god.
All the
Any.
time. It's like once a week.
Yeah, I haven't determined what's in the boots yet, so I will take a look because there's a lot of stuff to go through, and you rolled really good on your investigation.
You're
Ellis
welcome.
didn't.
Ellis did not, unfortunately, no. And then you ended up pulling something that was not helpful to you either. But maybe you and Tizio can trade.
Oh, I already did.
Oh,
I
okay.
just threw him the armor.
Oh,
yeah.
but did he give you the vials?
I don't.
Ellis
I
isn't-
don't know. I was just like,
Smart. I don't
eh.
think he's that smart, is he?
Ellis. Now I'm gonna say this, which is kind of crazy. As a player, I love magic items, but Ellis does not care about shit. Like, if he doesn't get magical powers from killing a monster, he really doesn't care about magic items or gold.
You know what? Actually, hey Ellis, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Oh no.
Wisdom saving throw. Oh boy.
He's gonna
Yeah.
The
explode.
Stone of Galore is evil.
Just
It's cursed all along.
just make a wisdom save.
The only reason he liked the stone is because there was shit about it talking to him in his head.
Yep.
He was
And
interested.
that was very familiar to him. You get advantage.
Oh.
I always
Yeah, from the stone. He gets advantage, I think.
Very cool.
no. I get advantage because I'm a Kalish Tar on wisdom saving throws.
Correct.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Just wanted to see.
He goes insane and kills everyone.
No. Nothing happens. He doesn't notice anything. You were too busy guiding everyone through the city streets.
Inside of the boots is an adamantite laser pistol.
I don't need. I would love to see that. Just share that with me because I don't even.
It's from XGE.
Oh, I don't have that on here, so yeah, I'll check it out after. All right. So great game, everybody.
All right, check his later.
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
a good night.
Always.
Below it is an adamantite laser rifle. Why did these exist?
Bye.